Okay, the big change is the alcohol duty reforms, which have switched for wine to taxing wine by ABV rather than taxing it in broad bands.
Hey guys, it's Sid Patel here, CEO of Beverage Trade Network and IBWSS San Francisco and London. I'm here live at day one, IBWSS London. I have David here with me from WSTA. That's one of the leading, that is the organization which really listens to the data when it comes to import, export, taxes, lobbying. So I'll have him introduce what they do here in UK. And this is mainly for the international, people trying to understand how to navigate UK market. And then we'll touch base on what are the changes going on, what has happened in the last 12 months and what can we expect in the next 12 months. So David, thanks for joining me here.
Thank you, Sid. Good to see you, and good to see a busy show, well attended. Our job mainly is to, I suppose the top line, is to explain government to industry and to explain industry to government. Now that includes policy changes, legal issues, commercial pressures, how the supply chain works, that when government says, can you just, it's that word just that's really problematic, because when you have a 6-month or a 9-month lead-in time for something, when you're finalising your Christmas campaigns in August, you can't just do something or just change prices. So there's a lot of work explaining that to people.
Understood.
And making sure that businesses understand the changes, new regulations, new practices that are coming in.
So let's go on what has changed in 12 to 18 months in UK. Precisely, like if it's done and dusted, it's in the law book now.
Okay, the big change is the alcohol duty reforms, which have switched for wine to taxing wine by ABV rather than taxing it in broad bands, which means a wine at 12% pays more excise duty than a wine at 9%. And the biggest impact on this has been on fortified wines. There's been a beneficial impact for sparkling wines because they've been aligned with all other still wines. So that there is a bit of benefit there. But at the same time, the government increased the duties. So there's a bit of a mixed picture in terms of whether prices can rise or fall, depending on where your product sits. That's done and dusted. There's a process of doing and dusting, if you like, in terms of borders and labelling, in that we're seeing a lot of changes in border processes and a lot of reform proposals that are coming in. We've got some labelling changes that are directly consequential on Brexit and require a UK address on products from the 1st of January. So those are all coming in and businesses are having to do a lot of work to prepare for that.
Let's touch base on spirits as well, right? So what has happened there? Like wine, you said, very clearly.
Spirits, the main change has been that excise duty has increased because spirits were always taxed by litre of pure alcohol. So there's no change there. There's no significant change in the way that spirits products are defined, and the address label position. Spirits have to go through the same process of having a UK address. So there have been fewer changes for spirits as a specific product than there have been for wine.
Sure. So 2024 now, right? Like what are you still working on? Like what's still in the grey and what can go either way?
Okay, there's a lot going on. As I said a moment ago, with border processes, the other big area where things are going to change is around the environmental and sustainability work. Things like plastic packaging tax, extended producer responsibility, deposit and return schemes. The worst case on that is we could end up with 3 separate schemes within the UK, which would be an absolute nightmare for consumers and very difficult for businesses because the UK internal market relies on being able to switch product. If you If you've got an overstock in Manchester, you want to be able to switch it to Cardiff or Edinburgh if you need to. So we need to be able to keep that going and get a consistent picture there. The other thing that we're looking out for is possible changes to minimum unit price in Scotland. So, as I say, a lot going on to keep us busy.
As an organization, are you like biased for UK brands to grow more in UK, or you can promote international brands to come into the UK? Like you do? Is there a part of the function as well?
Our job is to promote the wines and spirits sector and to help businesses in the wines and spirits sector function. So a number of our member businesses are multinationals. Some of them are companies based outside the UK but have a UK arm. Some of them are completely based outside the UK, but their product has a significant presence. We will obviously do our best where we have opportunities to present to support a category like English sparkling wine or British gin or English whiskey. We will do our best to promote that, but that's not exclusively what we do.
What does WSTA do? What kind of memberships are there? What kind of benefits are there to the members? What do you bring to the table to kind of members?
Well, the first thing we bring to the table is a collective voice on lobbying, which is really important, because the more voices we have, then the more rights we have to speak to government about what the industry wants, and the more that we're a convincing person to talk to. We offer a number of networking opportunities. We run our own events schedule, and we also offer individual advice either to specific groups of members. If they have a particular product in common, we will help them with issues related to that product. Or individual companies can come to us confidentially and say, I want you to talk to you about my labels, I want to talk to you about an issue I have, and we will do our best. If we can't help them directly, we can at least help them ask better questions.
And what are the fees for memberships?
They're very reasonable, Sid. They're on a sliding scale. It's based on turnover. It starts at £500. Obviously, we would like all our member companies to do extremely well, increase their turnover massively, and therefore fall into a larger fee bracket. But that's not what we're there for, and we try to help the big companies and the small companies in equal measure. And in fairness, probably about 80% of our members are on the lowest subscription bands.
Just one, other question that comes to my mind is, who's UK's top 3 trading partners in wine and in spirits?
Oh, crikey. You need my head of research and insights here for questions like that. But, trading partners in wine, you're obviously talking about France, Italy, Spain as the big 3. Okay. Australia's very big, Chile's very big, Argentina, America.
So that's 4, 5, 6.
USA is very big. Spirits is a very mixed picture, in that obviously a lot of spirits come from Europe as well. America's an important market for spirits product, but also a variety of different countries in the Far East, Japan, China, Korea, South Korea, Indonesia, they all have their place. So it's quite a mixed picture, and I can't do it justice.
That's all right. What's going on with India? I've been hearing news, some free trade agreement is happening with Scotch whiskies in India. And
the big issue with India is it's rather like America, in the sense that you're not dealing with one country, you're dealing with federated states, and you're dealing with the national infrastructure as well. So again, it's difficult to say here's one issue and that then cracks the whole of India, if you like, because different states have very different attitudes towards alcohol. I think the big issue with India particularly is that some states have very high excise duties on alcohol, which acts as a barrier to export, because the products there are priced much more expensively than local products. So that's a fairly obvious barrier. The challenge with any free trade agreement is what are the trade-offs, in that if we, as a sector, seek lower excise duties on alcohol product, what do various trade sectors in India seek from the UK, and how acceptable is that to another trade sector in the UK, and how politically acceptable is that? So our influence on that is inevitably limited.